Reports emerged this morning that the Dolphins and Odell Beckham Jr. would be mutually parting ways, and sure enough, the Dolphins this morning have already formally processed the transaction. We're breaking down the implications here today on Locked On Dolphins.
You are Locked On Dolphins, your daily Miami Dolphins podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, Miami, welcome to another episode of Locked On Dolphins. It is your team every day here on the Locked On Network. I'm your host, Kyle Krabs, a lifelong Miami Dolphins fan, host of Locked On Dolphins, co-host of Locked On NFL Scouting, author of Touchdown Miami on Substack, and the NFL Draft Lead for the 33rd team. Want to give a special shout out and welcome to our everydayers because it is your team every day. We don't just say it, we live it here on the Locked On Network. Today's episode of Locked On Dolphins is brought to you by FanDuel. You could start this weekend with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet and get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win that first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. What is the opposite of getting started? What is getting finished is the Odell Beckham Jr. experience with the Miami Dolphins. The team announcing that they were waiving Odell Beckham. Reports came out this morning after Odell did not participate in practice on Wednesday or Thursday with personal reasons listed on the injury report that he was looking for a new opportunity with, quote, some more opportunities. And understandably so for a receiver that is used to and accustomed to being a volume piece of an offense, was brought in with a vision. From a personnel standpoint, never really got aligned. You saw the emergence of Jonnu Smith as the next pass-catching option amongst the eligibles in the passing game, and because he has a bigger skill set or a bigger frame, a little bit more of an explosive run-after-catch player at this stage in his career, can take the underneath stuff. It kind of just clicked and complemented with the way that things came together for the Dolphins this season. Now, Odell Beckham, I want to be clear, I think can still play and contribute at the NFL level. I think the challenges for Odell came with never really getting started off on the right foot and missed all of training camp, was activated. At that point, was activated at the point in which Tua Tagovailoa was not playing quarterback. So he's played in 9 games, and he didn't catch his first pass until Tua returned against Buffalo. He caught 3 and then 2 and then 2 the first 3 games Tua was back. And then he's caught 2 passes for 10 yards the last 2 weeks. And the New England game, felt like it was an opportunity for Odell. He was targeted 3 times in that second Patriots game. He did not complete any of those. One of those was a tight window third down opportunity. Another one was in the red zone or in the end zone for a pass that Christian Gonzalez played through his frame and broke the pass up. And it felt like after that, the reps that he got, I thought Tua had a turn down in the red zone and another opportunity to target Odell for a potential touchdown, and he passed him over. And I felt like when you watch Tua's eyes and work through the progression, he starts right, and Odell's running the divide up the middle of the field against 2 hook players at linebacker that are sitting on the goal line. You probably could have hit it, and he ends up working over to the other side of the field and bypassed him in the progression. So chemistry felt like a thing from the jump here. But the writing was on the wall with this personnel decision was not going to manifest itself particularly well when we miss all of training camp from and get placed on the PUP list to start the season. So we get no time on task, and Tua talking about, I need reps with the guys to get an understanding and a trust to how they run their routes and so on and so forth. Never really happened. And then we're on PUP, and then we get activated, and we're playing with Tyler Huntley at quarterback, and that experience, as anybody who watched those games is well aware, was a very unpleasant experience of watching the Dolphins offense operate. And then Tua comes back, and it's kind of clunky, and then we go 0 for 3 against New England and never really got back on the horse. I think Odell Beckham can still run routes at an NFL level with some of the opportunities that he's had. Is he being put early in the progression for Miami? No, he's not. I thought he had the opportunity in the red zone on the divide route against the Jets, and there was another. I think it was the fourth down touchdown pass that he had to Tyreek Hill. I believe they ran a switch release on the other side of the field with Odell, and if he'd started to that side, Odell ran an out route at the front pylon, and you probably could have thrown it to him for a touchdown. Now, there's only one ball. There's only so many mouths to feed. This Dolphins offense is one that has found chemistry with other players. Tyreek Hill has 97 targets. Jonnu Smith has 78 targets. Jaylen Waddle has 72 targets. Devon Achane has 71 targets. Odell Beckham's next in line with 18. He's done less with his opportunities than Julian Hill has with his targets. Julian's caught 33% more balls than Odell has in the same amount of targets this year. So I'm not necessarily surprised that it came to this based on personal reasons, not practicing on Wednesday, Thursday. You know it's not been something that's clicked into place. And then you watch Odell on the field, and you're watching against New England, and you're watching against this past game against the Jets. Guys score touchdowns, and there's 10 guys on the field that are celebrating. And there's one that turns around and walks straight off the field with no emotion whatsoever. And that player's been Odell. And I think that's how you do anything is how you do everything, right? And I think if you read between the lines and you see what that reaction is in that moment to, I was open, but somebody else got the ball and scored, and I'm going to turn around and walk off the field. That to me was why, as this emerged this morning, I'm like, yeah, I get it. And then there's other personnel players that are impacting this availability anyway, which is what I want to get to next here on this episode of Locked on Dolphins. So make sure that you stick with us. PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in award winnings. PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You pick more or less on at least 2-player projections for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. You can run your game all season long on PrizePicks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. You can make your holidays bigger and brighter on PrizePicks, which is the best place to get real money sports action by winning up to 1,000 times your cash. They also have an injury insurance policy. So if your player gets hurt in the first half of a game and goes out, they will protect that lineup and keep it live for you. They are now accepting Venmo and MasterCard for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. I also, they have some boosts for their projections. Right now you can get Pat Mahomes for week 15 over or under or more or less than one half of one passing yard. You're going to like your chances of hitting that, right? And PrizePicks will throw those to you each and every week to help spice up your lineups. Download the app today, PrizePicks, and use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's download the PrizePicks app, use code LOCKEDONNFL, get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. Nothing delivers comfort and joy quite like the unrivaled quality and taste of Omaha Steaks. It's guaranteed perfection in every single bite, and now you can save on unforgettable gifts with 50% off site-wide at omahasteaks.com, plus score an additional $30 off with promo code NFL. With 5 generations of experience, they consistently deliver the world's best steak experience, and the gifting experts at Omaha Steaks have made it easy to deliver the perfect gift with thoughtfully curated gift packages featuring gourmet favorites. From legendary steaks to mouthwatering desserts and more, save 50% off site-wide on a limited time at omahasteaks.com. Plus, our listeners get an extra $30 off with promo code NFL. That's 50% off at omahasteaks.com and an extra $30 off with promo code NFL. Minimum purchase may apply. So the question that many are asking is, who's the wide receiver 3 now? What is the implication for the Dolphins offense without Odell Beckham? And I think my counter would be there is no change in implication, at least in my mind. for the Dolphins because Malik Washington has been out-snapping Odell Beckham with consistency the last couple of weeks. So I have my personal chart grading up here on my other screen. Malik Washington had 29 snap opportunities against the Jets versus 10 for Odell Beckham. You go to the Packers game the week before that. Malik Washington had 29 snap opportunities versus 15 for Odell Beckham. So effectively twice as many snap opportunities. Malik Washington and River Craycraft combined against the Patriots in week 12 had 38 snap opportunities versus 17 for Odell Beckham Jr., which was the last time he had meaningful volume. The week before that against the Raiders, River Craycraft and Malik Washington had 33 snap opportunities versus 20 for Odell Beckham. Snap opportunities are actual snaps and then snap or opportunities where you're on the field and there's a penalty that negates the play. They were at a 50-50 split against the Rams in week 10. Malik Washington 22-12 favor in week 9 against the Bills for the second Bills game in Buffalo. Week 8 against Arizona, Malik had 15 opportunities. Odell had 11. So this has been kind of unfolding. Indianapolis, Odell had 10 snap opportunities. Malik had 24. You got a first Patriots game, 20-10 in favor of Malik. Malik Washington has outsnapped Odell Beckham in every game this season. And Malik Washington, to his credit, is the guy that's going to stick his face in the D gap down in the red zone, and he's going to dig somebody out to help you score a touchdown on a short yardage touchdown run. Odell doesn't do that. And I think that's where the biggest barrier to high volume play for Odell, I don't think it's been his route running or his ability to create separation. This is an offense that puts added responsibility on the skill players to win in the running game. And it's not a coincidence that Mike McDaniel talks about Jaylen Waddle and Tyreek Hill and their snap percentages have been up this year because they've taken another step in what they do when they don't have the ball and when they're in the running game. And I think you see that. I think you do tangibly see that. And Malik Washington, it's been the best thing that he's done this season. You go back and watch Odell last year in Baltimore. I did the film study on Touchdown Miami. I'll pull it up. I wasn't mentally prepared to do this, but we'll spontaneously do this. I did a free agency scouting report on Odell on May 4th, 2024. And I looked at every skill that I evaluated the players on and looked at where Odell would rank versus the players that were on the roster. Blocking skills. The other side of vertical receiving coin is that no one really associates blocking with the wide receiver position. Make no mistake, it is a bigger part of this offense than your average team. And that makes what is typically an ancillary skill a secondary skill in the Dolphins offense, whether it's cracking box defenders, latching onto corners, playing zone coverage on the perimeter, or using your hands to dig out a safety running the alley. What can you do to help the running game? Ranking amidst Dolphins 2024 veteran wide receivers in blocking skills traits. Odell Beckham came in dead last. Dead last. This is perhaps the biggest divide between who OBJ is at this stage of his career and what the Dolphins want in their wide receivers. I would suspect, health willing, that Beckham is going to predominantly be an 11 personnel fixture in the offense that will put him on the field largely on passing downs anyway, so I could see how the team will be in a position to have opportunities to mitigate this element of Odell Beckham's game. But let's just say the effort, strain, and physicality weren't a part of his 2023 tape. That was May 4th. So, yeah, when you got a 6th round pick in Malik Washington, who's got a chip on his shoulder and is trying to earn reps, and he goes out and he'll block in the red zone, you got 4 guys with 70-plus targets. You don't need that. The Dolphins have this habit, for better or for worse. Whatever their weakest points are from the previous season, they will over-spam it with attention the following offseason. And I expect that's going to happen with the pass rush again this year because it happened last year with pass rush and the room has not come together. I would expect it's probably going to happen at cornerback. I would expect it's going to happen at backup quarterback. But the other skill players in the passing game, not named Jaylen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, last year, Durham Smythe was 3rd on the team in receiving yards. Talk about a hard pill to swallow. So what do? You go out and you get a wide receiver for 11 personnel stuff. You go get a flex tight end to add to the receiving element of the game. You get another running back so that you can free up Devon Achane for more receiving targets. And they went above and beyond to have answers to the problem. And they got the answers to the problem. The problem is it was just the running back being freed up to do it from a volume perspective because he's been healthy this year, and Jonnu Smith. So this slice of the pie, because you couldn't assimilate yourself into the offense because you weren't ready to go. And then you have media availability and you talk about how your initial plan, because you wanted to spend time and focus on things away from football and you didn't know when you wanted to have surgery. And like, all that's fine. But then when you get activated and you have media availability and you say, our original plan was to sign with somebody in season, and then you're not ready for the start of the season because your timeline was screwed up because you signed, but you weren't mentally prepared to sign. It's a personnel move that will go down in the yell column for the Dolphins. Obviously, 9 receptions, 55 yards. It's not great. But we're going to talk about the financial implications for Miami with a 1-year, $3 million contract with robust incentives that were in play. We'll get into that next, what's left for the Dolphins to pick up afterwards. That's next here on Locked On Dolphins. Stick with us. You can make the most of your NFL action this weekend with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view the live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page as where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet at FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. The Dolphins still sitting at +2.5, but the money line number's gone down. Which means there may be some money on Miami. Now, not enough to move the line, but the odds that they're paying out this morning are less than the odds that they were paying out on the money line last night. So, who knows? Maybe they know something. And if they do, take advantage, never waste that hunch, make every moment more with FanDuel. All right, so I put my handy-dandy capologist cap on. Not a math guy. I tell you I'm not a math guy. The dirty little secret is I very much am a math guy as it pertains to salary cap. Odell Beckham signs a 1-year, $3 million contract with up to an additional, $5 million, 5.5 approximately in incentives. There were receiving yards bonuses. There were touchdown bonuses. There were receptions bonuses. The first tier of incentives, it would have been $400,000 if he logged 36 receptions on the season. It ain't going to happen. I hate to tell you. It's just not going to happen. Receiving yards, 566 was tier 1, $400,000. He's got 55. It ain't going to happen. And if it does, somebody claims him, and I can't imagine anybody will. I think they'll let him pass through waivers, and he'll get to pick his team next Monday. 4 touchdowns. So we didn't come close to any of these, which means it's a base salary, 1-year, $3 million contract. The Dolphins will carry a $2.1 million cap hit for Odell this year, which he was on the roster through December 13th. So it's technically going to get classified at this stage in void money, but they paid a lot of that out as base salary, and then obviously the signing bonus. And they split the signing bonus because it was a 1-year contract. They put void years on the back end of it, kick it out. $895,000 in dead cap in 2025. That's what's left after this year for the Odell Beckham experiment. So is it going to kill you? No. And I think that's where you do, even though hearing how Odell Beckham talked about what like his offseason plan was and what his vision for this season was going to be, which was we're going to take our time and get healthy and get right and spend time away from the football to focus on other interests. And then we were going to start to ramp up and we were going to sign with somebody in season. Like that's stuff Odell Beckham said out loud. So to do that signing in, May? May 3rd. To do that signing in May, with that being where that player's psyche and frame of mind is at, didn't age well, needless to say. It's not going to kill you, especially because you spammed the problem with other potential solutions, and those worked out for you. But from a roster perspective, I think there's one or two routes that this goes. Is this the roster spot you need for Bradley Chubb? And I am not going to bat an eye at Odell Beckham Jr. being off the roster. I think I did the Young Guns episode, which was what young players should be playing more. And in talking about, opening up roster spaces, with the writing being on the wall and seeing how engaged he was or was not with the football team, like I would not have batted an eye if this happened a couple weeks ago either, if we're being honest. So, is this the Bradley Chubb roster spot? Or do you need another wide receiver and they've elevated Grant Dubose or designated him to return? He was the Packers waiver claim when you went to 53, who had a rough start to the year, but he'd only really got here, has the physicality as a blocker that I'm kind of compelled by. Would love to see him continue to get some opportunities to work back in here now that he's been here and worked with the team and been a part of practice and learned the playbook and all that. But I think it's worth noting D. Eskridge at another wide receiver position sounds like he's banged up. He left the game against the Jets. So are you going to have two roster spots open with D. Eskridge and Odell? I think that's where we kind of need to see how things unfold from here. That's going to do it for us here as the Dolphins get ready to play the Texans on Sunday. Hope you guys enjoyed the update in regards to Odell Beckham Jr. and his departure from the Miami Dolphins. I'm Kyle Krabs. You can keep it locked in right here on Locked On Dolphins. It is your team every day. Appreciate you guys checking out the show. Make it a great rest of your day. We're out of here. Go Fins.